Okay, today we're just talking about the Kingray Headend, the professional series. So I guess first of all, why would you use a Headend system? Lucky for you guys, I'm a great artist, and I've drawn some pictures here. So these are the situations in which you'd use a Headend. First of all, you've got a building here. Maybe they've got buildings in front blocking the view, that antenna signal. So here's a tower transmitting its antenna signal, and it's a very poor quality signal that it's getting. You might have 10 or so points here, and you need to clean up that signal. Second scenario might be you've got a decent antenna signal, but you've just got so many different TV points, and because you're running so many different TV points, you need a head-end to boost up that signal and again keep the quality good. And the third scenario is if you've got a TV tower and you've got a building in which you've got really old cabling, RG59 cabling instead of your RG6 quad, and you need to actually change that TV signal, which might be say UHF, down to a lower frequency so that RG59 can actually run the signal. So you'd be changing it from a UHF signal down to a VHF signal, and then the cable will work. So this is a unit here. So what we have is the first product here, KLA 110. That's a power supply that you see in the middle. And then each of these things are channel processors or channel converters. So they do both jobs of converting the frequency and also cleaning up the frequency. So if you're looking at at different solutions, some people will look at just a wideband amplifier as a cheap and easy solution if you don't require too much help in your TV system. You might have a slightly better system, which might be a cluster amp, but in Australia those are not great. Normally they're made for European or those kinds of markets, because they tend to be 8 megahertz steps, so they're not all that great. And then you have these, which are used in a lot of the bigger buildings, and then you've got another step above that where we have other products such as the triacs that will actually regenerate signal. So for many jobs, for many commercial jobs, this one would be used. Kingray manufacture a lot of stuff out of Sydney, so a very reputable brand. So that's our power supply, and it's also, you'll notice that you've got a PC output. This is a great feature of the Kingray Professional. Often other brands, you'll need to have a module that you'll need to either buy or you'll need an installer to provide you with it. This one, literally, it's pretty much plug and play. So you've got the internet for the control, and then you've got the power in this main unit. Then it goes on to these channel processors. So you just see the coax going into this unit, and then you've got these jumper leads on the top that you attach. So you've got a KLA 110, KCC 110, they're the channel processors converters. So that's channel, say ABC, SBS, channel 7, 10, channel 9. So often we'll have 5 or 6 of these channel converters, and you might have community TV also being a 6th one. As far as the numbering on the system goes, that's -1, 2, 3, 4, -5, and then you have your number count starting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's one of their older analog modulators, but a very good modulator, so a residual sideband modulator, so a very good modulator. Now they're just coming out with the new digital modulators. So Kingray have a 2-input digital modulator that I think a lot of jobs will use. So they might have Foxtel going into it, and then they'll be putting Foxtel and your free-to-air all together in the signal. So this is a modulator here. Modulator for the analog is a KVM 110. But as mentioned, the digital modulator, just bear with me for just 1 second while I get you what I believe is going to be the product code. So a KDM 110 should be the dual input. Because this is a professional unit, you need to make sure that you're mounting it all vertical, and because you want the heat to dissipate. If you're going to be using those modulators, then they actually have a fan kit that goes in with the unit. So what's so special about this unit? What separates it from the other ones? Well, first of all the brains are included within the power supply, so that's the first thing. The other thing is it's extremely low noise, this one. So most units, what they'll do is they'll receive all these frequencies, they'll drop them down, and then they'll use multiple oscillators to bring them up. This one will do the opposite. It'll actually it'll receive the signals, bring it up to 1.3 gigahertz for memory, and then they use a single oscillator to drop the signal down. So that means that you have really, really good MER figures. So MER, quality of signal, an average one might be 4 or 5 dB of loss, and this one will be about 1.5. So it's about the least lossy head end that it is the least lossy head end that we've tested. So very, very, very efficient, this one. MER 36 dB, which is great, and it's got a very high output, 118 dB output. So why that's good? If you're running it off to a lot of different outputs, you can afford to lose signal power through the splitters and the cable runs. I thought also, I'm not sure if we can catch it on the computer, but I thought I'd show also how simple the setup is. So you just get a standard patch lead that I've plugged in. I've got a Windows Surface Pro here. We've got one of the Pro 2 adapters on it, a USB to Ethernet, plugging into the side. Bear with me, I don't really use Windows 8. So I'm just logging in. To find it, what you might need to do if you've got a complex network like this, you might just need to allow your computer to find it. So you just go to your control panel. There's probably better ways of doing this. Look for your network places, and then there you see it, Ethernet 2. So that's going to be our Ethernet connection. What do? We go to properties. And then what we've got to find is our standard internet, which is TCP-IPv4, which is your standard internet protocol. So select that, go to properties, and then this setting you might need to change that. That IP address, I've typed in 192.168.1.100. So that's really all you have to do. And then because we're directly connecting the PC to it, that's pretty much it. So you open your internet browser. It's saying that it doesn't have internet connection at the moment, which is fine. And you've got me using the Windows Surface Pro in a clumsy way. So I've just typed in 192.168.1.1, which is actually the same address that you have on most routers. So it just pops straight up. So there we go. Headend programmer, click here, and I'll ask you for a password. The default password is just admin, which I've now typed in. Now we've got an omnidirectional caravan antenna plugged into this, so we're not expecting the greatest signal, but you can see here, if I go through this, you've got all the different channels. So you've got channel 9, ABC, SBS, the whole lot. Bandwidth is also 7 meg. This is an Australian-made product for the Australian market, so you'll find the settings are already correct. Some interesting things. Let's go into settings for, say, channel 9. And then you see this screen where it's telling us our signal strength is low, because obviously we're just using an omnidirectional caravan antenna in an office, which is not ideal. Module position, -5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's this one. Input frequency, 613.5, so that's the frequency that we're actually receiving from the TV tower. Output frequency, 191.5. So what happened in Melbourne, we used to get our signal from Mount Dandenong, which would have been this frequency, and then at some point they've said no, there's a better tower to get the signal from, and then they've chosen a different frequency. In a motel or a hotel, you'd need to then go around to all your TVs and retune them. In this case, we don't need to do that. All that we do is we say, let's just change the input frequency, leave the output frequency the same, and just hit the right button, and then we're done. So when the tower's changed, we actually didn't need to do anything with our TVs. As far as the TV is concerned, everything's the same. So that's fine. We'll get out of that. And these numbers, 40, 43, 42, 41, 44, what you find in Australia is you have channel blocks now. You've got A, B, C, D, E. Most capital cities, they'll have A as being their major transmitter. Say in Melbourne, it's Mount Dandenong will be A. And then you have these extra transmitters for local areas, generally. In the case of Melbourne, it's D. So we're close to the city. So in Burke Street, the AMP building, called the AMP building, that is transmitting on channel block D. So you can see channel block D is 40 right up to 44 here. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. So that's the one that we're receiving. We've got our modulator there. And this is our launch amplifier. So we've got our gain plugged in there at 27 dB. Yeah, another point also is if you do need more gain, so the general rule is if your signal that you're receiving from the antenna is low, then you use a masthead amplifier. If you're splitting the signal and that's causing too much loss, then you use a distribution amplifier. So in a lot of buildings, if they're receiving not enough signal, then they'll use a masthead amplifier. In this case, the MDA 20 HT would go with this. So this unit will power your masthead amplifier. So on the roof of the building, they'll have an antenna, and it's always tricky their containers, opening them without ripping it. So you'll have your antenna up on the roof, and then below that you'll have a masthead amplifier, where the antenna will be going in and out of here. It goes down your TV antenna cable into your RF input here. And then from there, obviously we go out to the rest of the TV system. So you've got your system outputs down the bottom there, and then you have a test point also. So that's it. So Kingray, Australian company, professional. This is the go-to, probably the go-to Headend system, and yeah, made in Australia, 3-year warranty, all that kind of jazz. So a really great unit. Thanks for tuning in.